I've been searching for years, and I've tried just about everything, but I think at long last I have finally found a planner setup that works for me. Join me as I plan a week in my life, and I'll be using Sarah Cannon's HB90 planner, which I've printed and used every quarter since December 2022, though I do include a few modifications. Every week, I start by assessing exactly how many task blocks I have available that week. I can kind of eyeball it now, so I don't make like a detailed chart every single time. But I made this chart back when I was doing HB90 at the beginning of the year, and I try to make a new chart every quarter to keep up with any changes in my life. This chart is working well for me this semester. I very rarely get 108 task blocks in. I've found that I'm very bad at assessing exactly how many hours of work I can actually do in a day. But here I've accounted for my full-time job, any long breaks like eating breaks or sleeping, exercise is green, my freelance work is here, and all these little pink boxes are breaks in between work sessions. So I try to give myself a break every 3 task blocks or so. Hopefully it's all accounted for here, but again, I very rarely come close to this number. That's totally fine. I'm still getting stuff done, and it just gives me something to aim for and something to reach for. It keeps me competitive. Every week I try to shoot for more than I did the week before, and over time I do think it's making a difference in how focused I am and how much I get done. After I've figured out how many task blocks I have available, I start by first filling in this page. It has a space for goal 1, goal 2, and goal 3, but I make some adjustments to it. I add some lines here to make additional boxes, and I'll explain that, but let me go ahead and do it first. Goal 1 is always any task that has to do with writing. I just filled a Notion chart recently with all the edits I want to make to the novel that I have in progress right now. I have around 44 edits left as of today, and I'm hoping to get through them all next week. I started out by drawing a box for all 44. That was obviously not the wisest thing to do. So instead, I think I'm going to count by 2s here, and I will just white out the extras. I need to send the next batch of pages to my critique partner, so I'm adding that next to the list. Then on Saturday, I'm going to a craft seminar by Jamie Attenberg through Writers League of Texas. It's called 1000 Words, so I'm accounting for that as well here. I consider it part of my writing for the week. And then finally, I want to catch up in Sarah's publishing course that I'm also taking, so I'm hoping to get Module 1 done this week in that. Goal 2 is always YouTube or any other content creation task. I try to put out at least 10 videos a quarter, but I've fallen behind a little bit because I was taking Ali Abdul's part-time YouTuber Academy last month. So I'm hoping to film at least 3 new videos before the end of this week. I won't necessarily post them all, but I want to at least get them all filmed. I also need to start reading The Foxglove King in preparation of interviewing Hannah Witten, who is my next featured guest, and I'm very excited to have her. Goal 3 is exercise and health. I try to get in 5 workouts a week. This is also where I keep track of any tasks related to my freelance work with Nimrod. Down here, I keep track of any teaching-related tasks for my full-time teaching job. I'm also helping develop the world literature curriculum right now, so I keep track of that here. I keep track of any writing or content creation I have to do that doesn't serve one of the projects I list above. This includes writing I do for other people, like recommendation letters, and writing I do for myself, like notes on library books that I need to type and organize before I return them. And here I list any other task that I need to keep in mind for the week ahead, like voting early, opening wedding gifts, selecting a wedding gift thank you card, and laundry. I also should probably get some paperwork done, so I'm adding 5 hours of paperwork. So this encompasses everything I'm expecting to work on this week, and I obviously won't get to all of it this week, and that's totally fine because I have a strategy to make sure that it doesn't fall through the cracks and that it carries over to following weeks. Next, I turn to this page and I write out the dates and note anything important like deadlines. That is not the 16th. I write out each day here and then note anything especially important about each date. I know my subscription to Descript ends on the 26th, so I'm gonna write something about that here. Then I set task block goals for each of my 3 goals. And I put those here as well. So for G1, my goal is generally 45. G2, YouTube, content, social media, my website, pretty much anything that involves content. It's also 45. And then for G3, my goal is just 10. And anytime I make even half of that goal, I give myself a gold star. I have these gold star stickers here that I use to reward myself. I know it's ridiculous, stay with me. Moving on to the weekly planning pages. And I really love these weekly planning pages because they let me see bird's eye view of exactly when I'm going to get all these tasks done. And yes, it's super annoying to have to rewrite them. So I don't really, I just plan one day at a time most of the time. But for illustration purposes, I'm gonna try my best to show as much as I can right now. I start by dividing these again. And I do kind of hate how this line isn't on one of the dotted lines, and so it's like in the middle of a couple of them. That was almost the worst line I have ever drawn. I just want you to know it's not generally this hard. Moving on. In general, I start by picking 3 big tasks that I want to get done on each day. This week is a little bit unusual because I have so many tasks that have increments that are easily recognizable. Usually tasks won't be that way. Usually a task is a one and done sort of thing. But when I have 44 edits, for example, that I need to get done, I know I need to divide that across the entire week. I can just go ahead and plan that here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And so I think I'm gonna do, for example, 8 edits on Monday, 8 edits on Wednesday, and I can do 7 edits every other day. And that gives me a free Sunday. I actually usually start this by telling myself how many task blocks I have to work with each day. And then I I also like go through and put in any necessary events.
So for example, I know I teach 3 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm also noting my available task box for each day so that I'm aware of that number as I'm planning which tasks to include for each day.
And I just remember that there's also a seminar on the 24th that's counted here, the 9 here, that I need to keep in mind. So going back to the incremental tasks, in order to finish module 1 of the publishing course I'm taking, I know I probably need to watch like 2 videos a day, so I will add that up here. And finally, the last incremental task that I will include is the 245 pages, and I will shoot for around 35 pages per day to that end. And that's about it when it comes to weekly planning. I do have a Notion dashboard where I keep track of all my HB90 goals, and for the most part, all of these are accounted for already there because I put them in at the beginning of the quarter, and I can easily move them around on Notion, much more easily than I could if I wrote them here. I try not to write too much here until the day of. Generally, every night, anything I didn't get done gets highlighted, and I have a highlighter in my planner for that purpose. Use this to just highlight whatever didn't get done, and that way I have a view of like where I stand every week. Next, every week I try to go ahead and get Monday planned so that I'm prepared to hit the ground running Monday morning. So let's do that next. And I use color-coded labels to distinguish what goal I'm working on. So blue is generally goal 3, or anything that doesn't fit 1 and 2. First and foremost, I need to plan Nimrod for the week, and that's the Nimrod social media. I also need to meal plan and order groceries. Let's do 1 hour of paperwork and lesson plan for tomorrow.
Moving on to goal 2 tasks, which I denote with a green dot.
I need to film video 4, which is what this video is. Record voiceover, make edits, and schedule for upload. No idea how long that's going to take me, but hopefully not too terribly long. I have a suspicion, though I really hope not, that this is going to be a harder video than usual. It might require more than the 20 task blocks that I have available.
G1 tasks are usually pink, so that's 8 edits divided by 2s.
And 2 videos. Things that I absolutely have to get done today, I put up here. So planning Nimrod for the week is very important. Finishing video 4 is very important. And lesson planning is important, but I've already taught this course before, so I already have a list of lesson plans that I can draw from. It shouldn't take me too terribly long, so it doesn't feel like a hard enough task to reach for. Instead, I think I'm going to choose from this group and shoot for 4 edits. And the things up here are what I tend to send my accountability partners, just to make sure that I have some outside influence forcing me to get it done. At the end of the day, anything I don't get done gets highlighted and moved over to the next day or the day after. I also peel off the dots for any group that didn't get a sufficient amount of them done, so that when I look back through the week and I'm reviewing the week, I can see which days I worked on what goals. Finally, what I do down here is I keep track of what I'm grateful for each day, anything especially notable that happened during the day, things that I'm glad happened. It's just like a little journaling section for me. And it keeps me positive, and it's nice to look back.
I've found that the more I notice things to be grateful for, the more I have to be grateful for. It's a really interesting phenomenon.
And that's about it. That is the extent of my process, and I hope it was useful to you. Please let me know if you had any questions.